and welcome to Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. I am one of your hosts, Cicero Holmes, a.k.a. the Mafia Lord himself, a.k.a. Stubby Stan. And I say hi to your mother. You say hi to your mother for me. Thank you. And in episode 93, we are going to be discussing the voice of Bayonetta calling out Platinum Games, Gotham Knight being maybe not so good, and a bunch of Silent Hill news. But before we do that, I first have to introduce my other co-hosts. My fellow shenanigan brother. He is the one and the only Rubber Duck, aka Justin Miller. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good today. Quack, quack, quack. I'm ready to do this, and I'm back.
You're always there. Never disappoint. And we've got a new person on the scene here who is coming around. He used to go by the name Stay-at-Home Gamer, but now he is now called Mike. So I want Test Your Might, the Test Your Might audience, to give a warm welcome to Mr. Mike Anstead. How you doing, Mike? Welcome to Test Your Might.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We usually do this thing.
I only wrote the outline.
We normally do this thing called Guts, but we're pressed on time today, so
we're pressed for time. So so not this time, but maybe if you come along next time, you win another contest. We'll
if you do a good job, we'll bring you back around.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe next time I won't write the outline for you.
Right.
Either.
Oh, okay. Well, so. I mean, listen. Do you want to be on the show? You want to be on the show? If you want to be on the show, man, you got to do work, right? Like you can't just show up.
Yeah.
Right? Get out of here.
I can actually.
I do.
I brought this podcast into this world, and I can take it out.
I do a quack load of work every single podcast.
There it is. Yeah. Yes. Keep cracking up. Listen. If you like this banter, you like what you hear. Of course you do. Please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice. Whatever it is, leave us a review. If it's Spotify, you can rate us if you're on the mobile app. So please rate us 5 stars, 6 stars, 7, 8, 9, 10 stars. If you can do it. Get 2 accounts, rate us 5 stars twice, then you got 10 stars. It's amazing. But you know what you can also be doing? Listen, I just want to let you guys know something. Not only do we sound great, but we look even better than we sound. And if you don't realize that, that's because you're not watching us on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, you know that I am not even bluffing at our beauty. And that means you want to hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Do that. Hit the notification bell and hit that big red subscribe button so that we can get our custom link. You know what it is. We got to do all the YouTube things. You got to help us do that. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we've got a little bit more housekeeping. Our full season review of Rings of Power is out with the season recap with Sharif Jackson is coming later this week. And we will also have a review of Halloween Ends in a really cool Halloween franchise video coming out shortly with friend of the show, Shanine Thompson. All right. That was our housekeeping. Is it okay with you, Mike? Because you talked about doing the outline. Was that enough housekeeping?
That was just fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. All right.
Doing a great job. Doing a great job.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Duck. Not you, Mike. Well, you know what? I got a question for you. The question of the week. Sorry,
I'm not
getting
gonna
to know
answer
us.
now.
Yeah, I getting to know a series.
This is gonna be a boring show.
Right. What has been your favorite movie and favorite TV show of the year? You know what? I'm gonna start with Mike Justin.
All right.
Hey, Justin.
Hi,
Mike Justin.
For movie, it's been difficult. I've seen a lot of good movies this year. Halloween Ends was not that one. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Terrifier 2.
That's a spoiler alert for our spoiler review.
Right. Yeah, snuck it in there. Just snuck it between the the butt
Yeah.
quack. I've got Terrifier 2 for my movie. For sure, I've seen it in theaters 3 times. Enjoyed every single time watching it.
Wow.
It is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. If you are a horror, horror buff or a movie buff that loves slasher films, you're gonna pick this up and enjoy it. It's got a very good story that goes from start to finish, keeps you interested throughout. Lots of gore, so be ready for that. Other than that, for TV show, there hasn't been a lot of TV shows that really caught my eye this year. Really, like, TV shows have been tough to watch, unless you're talking about Rings of Power. Rings of Power is definitely my favorite of the year so far. I had the Moon Knight up there, but I felt like Rings of Power kind of threw that for a loop and showed me what a real TV show could look like when given time and money. Not saying Moon Knight didn't have those things, but Rings of Power just did it very well.
Moon Knight
So, yeah.
was short-lived.
Yeah, Rings of Power for sure, and Terrifier 2.
Okay. Mike, please.
Cicero, please, by all means, you can go first.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm still trying to decide on
Sure.
what my favorite movie and TV are. And I'm the host, so I'm trying to.
No, I'm just almost non-existent on this, episode. So I'm just giving you, whatever you want to do.
You exist and you matter. You matter.
Cicero,
to me.
I give you the right to go next.
Oh well, thank you. But you know what? I'm gonna defer to Mike.
Okay.
Mike, what you got for favorite movie and TV show of the year?
I second that with Justin. My favorite TV show has been Rings of Power.
Can I change my answer?
No. It is so good. I'm just like, I want listeners to, listen to our recap of season 1 with Sharif, because I know Sharif's pretty high on the show too. Like, we're just gonna go gaga over the show. I mean, we just loved it. So I think Rings of Power is like, it's one of those shows that, like, I don't know if I'm going to set a standard to it, but like visually I want to. Like, it just looks so good. And I want every TV show I watch to look that good. But I know it's not going to. But favorite movie, it's The Batman. I think The Batman was one of the best 3 hours that I've ever spent watching a movie. I loved the atmosphere. I loved the story. Robert Pattinson did a really good job as Bruce Wayne, Batman.
One of the best Bruce Waynes, for sure. I think I listen to the soundtrack all the time. I think it has one of the best scores of the year as well. The Batmobile in that movie is awesome. The sound design is great. The fighting choreography is top notch. And again, the story was great. So looking forward to the Matt Reeves Batman universe, because they're doing a bunch of spin-off TV shows with like the Penguin and all that. So yeah, I loved The Batman. That's probably my favorite movie of the year. Got a follow-up question real quick. You said you enjoyed the score for the Batman and you still listen to it. Is the score for the Batman better than Halloween Ends score?
That's really hard. The Halloween Ends score is, I think it's John Carpenter's best work. But I will say yes. I think overall it is better than Halloween Ends score. I think it's more impactful. And it's more, it has so many different themes within the soundtrack that, like, I mean, if you listen to the Batman theme, it's like an old Western, like sort of style. Like, and then you listen to the Catwoman theme and it's like, it's a little bit more
spoilers,
upbeat and stuff like that. So yeah. Batman, great movie. The Batman, sorry.
All right. The Batman. So I almost did the thing where we had a chance to choose 6 things and we would have only chosen 4 things. But I'm not going to do that. My favorite movie of the year could have been The Batman, but it wasn't. It was actually another movie that I just forgot the name of. Yeah. Right. Well,
No, that was December.
right. So Spider-Man came out December. I wound up seeing it in December, and I saw it again in January. So it may have been
Technically.
my favorite movie that I saw this year. But I'm actually gonna give this one to a movie that I expected to be terrible, and it was everything that it should have been, and then some, and that is Top Gun Maverick.
I still want to see it.
Top Gun Maverick had no right being made. It's absolutely a ridiculous movie, but it is every bit the sequel to Top Gun that you'd want a sequel of Top Gun to be. It's just utterly ridiculous, but it works, and it was just so much fun. It was dumb. It made no sense, but I believed it, and I just had a blast. I had a blast watching that film. So that was my favorite film that I've seen so far this year.
There's very few of them that like really get the sequel right after 30 years. You know?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm talking to you, Matrix Resurrections.
Hocus pocus.
So then my favorite TV show of the year. So what we've been doing so far has been we've been talking about brand new shows and brand new films. I'm going to say my favorite TV show of this year was the Orville season 3, Orville New Horizons. So it is the third season of the Orville, but it's Orville New Horizons, so it may actually still fit as a new show. This is the first season on Hulu.
Down with that.
But it is super duper good. Super duper good. If you were a fan of Family Guy at some point or any of the Seth MacFarlane shows, and you also happen to have an affinity for the Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation cast and those shows, and you watched them and you thought they were okay and you kind of like the stories, you really need to give the Orville a chance. You can just start by watching this New Horizon season, which comes out, which is exclusively on Hulu, but you'll get more out of it if you watch the previous 2 seasons also on Hulu. So, it's super duper good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think highly recommend it. Rings of Power is good though. Rings of Power is like phenomenal in terms of the effects and the story and cinematography and all that other stuff. But
for sure.
Yeah. That's what we've been watching. Why don't we talk about what we've been playing? Mike, why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
I'm gonna be very boring.
Okay.
I've been playing nothing but Marvel Snap.
Nice.
It's literally the only thing that I played this week. Marvel Snap, we've talked about it on the show before. It is a collectible card game where you create a deck of Marvel superheroes, and they have abilities. They have a cost as well as a power level. And there are 3 locations on the map, and you are supposed to get the highest power at 2 of the 3 locations to win against your opponent. And so you really want to build a deck that is synergetic, that works together, that creates more power by working on each other's abilities and stuff like that. There's on reveal abilities, there's ongoing abilities, there's just regular abilities that don't happen just one time and stuff like that. So yeah, just super good. I really enjoy it. I love
love being able to just create a deck with some of my favorite superheroes, and it's so cool. I love also that it's free to play. There are microtransactions, but those are purely cosmetic in nature. You don't actually buy cards. You buy like variants of cards. So that's also a plus. And yeah, if you play completely free and don't end up buying like the season pass or anything, it is still very, very good for the person who's just doing free to play. I love it. Download it. It's free. Cross progression too. I play on my PC and then I switch over to my phone and then go vice versa, and it works and it's awesome. So yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I'll go next. I've got a lot of stuff that actually I've been playing. Usually it's three of the same games. But I have been playing those three same games. So Fall Guys, yes, I have been playing that, and Madden 23, I have been playing that, and MLB The Show 22 or 23 or whatever it is, I've also been playing that. But I've also been playing another sports game, NHL 23, the online hockey league portion of that, which is called CHEL, where you can get up to 5 of your friends together to play in a league against other teams where there are up to 6 players as well. And there are different play styles and different archetypes that you can use, and it's a ton of fun to sit and play with a team. It's almost like you have your own, I mean, they're called clubs, but it's like you have your own club team, and you're going from one ice rink to the next, and you guys are playing hockey against other people. So it's really a lot of fun.
Hockey?
Also, yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I just said hockey.
Oh yeah, hockey. Yeah, hit the pass.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yeah.
Blades of Steel.
Yeah, I also started playing the My Career. I think Be a Pro is what they call it, and it's compelling, right? Like they've got all of these, like, they're not vignettes, but they're like these mini cutscenes where you have different choices, but there are 3 different types of meters that you can fill. There's a teammate meter, which will impact your ability to get passes and what have you from your teammates, how willing they are to really be a good teammate towards you, and that it will be determined by some of the like dialogue choices that you make. There's a GM, I think, meter as well, and that's going to be the like front office, and like that'll impact your what line you are on and how much time you get on the ice and whether or not they'll want to trade you, and it will influence the type of contract that they'll give you when you're in free agency. And then there's also your brand. So you can have dialogue choices that will increase your brand, and that will help you get endorsements, and that will like give you actual money that you can use to spend for different things and events within your Be a Pro career. So there's lots of dynamic moments in that I really enjoy. So that's pretty cool. And if you guys have, if you've got EA access on your Game Pass, which, if you've got Game Pass, you do, you get 10 hours free to check out NHL. So I would suggest checking it out. It's pretty cool.
So it's like Goon Simulator.
Yes, you absolutely. My brother is gay. So
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, I know a couple of weeks ago I said that I had been playing the Call of Duty beta on my PS5, and
it looked amazing.
It looked amazing. It played amazing. It was really, really good. It made me think about the fact that, oh yeah, I've got a PS5 and I should check that out. And I've also got the, the whatever their Game Pass variant on PlayStation Plus
Extra
now plus Ultra,
plus,
Ultra,
The sign of
right.
Peter Lugas.
So
it's Peter Luga.
Yeah, Peter Luga. So I remembered that and was like, oh yeah, let me see what I can stream. And one of the games that I could stream was a game that I hadn't played and heard good things about, and that's Bugsnax.
Nice.
So I gave Bugsnax a try. Streaming works well on the PlayStation 5, so that that part was a success. That game is weird. I'm not deep into the game, but the game is weird. Like I know, but it's not even the fetch quest portion of it that's the weirdest part for me. It's the very like cannibalistic like anthropomorphism, not mutilation but like transfiguration portions of this game. Like, it is bizarre. And I know people had like, I talk about Viva Pinata a lot, and people rightfully talk about like how weird that game is, because you take a sick pinata that was alive and you bash it over the head, and then you have the other pinatas just eat the remains.
Ooh, piece of candy.
And that's just right, and that's great gameplay. That's bizarre, but this game is also bizarre. So you're a weird like anthropomorphic animal thing, right? And you can talk and stuff like that, and all of the other beings are also the same. But then there are like these things called Bugsnax that are snacks like strawberries or carrots or things you eat, but they also have like wings or legs or some attribute of an insect. And then so what you've got to do is catch them, and then you feed that thing to one of these anthropomorphic creatures, and one of their body parts changes into whatever the thing was that they ate. So like if you ate like a strawberry bug thing, then your foot would disappear, and you've got like a little strawberry on your ankle, where right below your ankle, and that's your foot. And it's just, and then if you eat a carrot, like your arm turns into a carrot. I don't know, like they give this game to kids, like I think I would have nightmares. It's a bizarre game. But I got this. Yeah, right.
Sorry.
I'll
be leaving now.
You're a great dad. So happy Father's Day. So I played a little bit of that. It's weird. Maybe I'll go back to it. I'll check it out. But I also right before we started recording, I remembered that, oh hey, I really liked Call of Duty, so I ordered it on my PS5. And if you pre-ordered it, you gain access to the single player early. You get early access to the campaign. And so I started playing the campaign. I'm in the third mission, so not incredibly deep into it.
Is that on Sony only? The pre-order bonus?
I don't know. No, I think you get early access. I think you get early access everywhere if you pre-order it. But there are some Sony exclusives, some PS5 exclusives that you can get with your pre-order bundle on the PS5.
That's weird.
Well, it's not weird because those contracts were signed years ago. So weird. That's fine. So this is again, this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I was playing some of the campaign. I got a few chapters in. It is very, very good, right? Like, I don't play a lot of those campaigns. But man, this is like an action movie. It is super fun to play, and it looks incredible. Just wow. So those are games I've been playing. Sorry it took so long. I've been playing a lot. I have a lot to talk about. Justin, what have you been playing?
I've also got a lot.
You're a capital G gamer.
Right. I'd like to introduce a section that I'm creating here and hopefully going to continue with, called Duck's Dusty Discs. And this is classic games that I own that have grown dust on them, and I uncovered them like a treasure and plugged in a PlayStation 1 and started playing one of these games over this last week, and that is The Mummy for PS1. This is a action adventure game,
the license game
with Rick O'Connell. Yes, it is a it is a Tomb Raider like game where you play as Rick O'Connell, the lead character in The Mummy, the movie.
Does it have like Tomb Raider controls too?
Very similar. Very similar. Except you're going through, Egypt instead for the most part, and you're going through like tombs and fighting, slave zombies and all kinds of mummies, scarabs, all kinds of stuff. It's incredibly difficult to play right now. Other than that, from the dusty section, I'm going to go into the current section. I am in Medieval Dynasty still. I've got a town now. I've got about like 10 people that are in my town doing different tasks. I manage them. I pay my taxes. I do all my stuff and have this community going. And
why would you want to live real life in a video game? Just
because I am ensuring my dynasty, my life, and my family's name continues. So it has that kind of like push towards it. I did start a new world in Grounded with a coworker, shared world, and playing through that, building and having fun. Then I picked up a game that came out, which you guys know I probably picked up, which is Scorn. Over the last 2 weeks, I have been playing that. I'm on, I believe, Act 3. It's cut into like 5 acts. This game is a puzzle game. Yeah, sure, there's some shooting about midway through, but for the most part, it is gross. But it's like an art. It's like an art exhibit. You're walking through someone's painting, and you're enjoying the vision that they try to show, and they portrayed it very well, visually captivating. It shows. One of the games that we should have listed with the art section in the leaderboards previously. This is a vision of someone's painting, pretty much, and you're enjoying it for what it is. And then I started a new game on Game Pass called Phantom Abyss. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's in the preview program right now. It is Indiana Jones on crack. You are running through a tomb or different challenges through tombs with like arrows shooting at you and blades and spinning traps and fall pits. Pitfalls.
Blades of Steel.
And your goal is to get relics at the end of that. But this is a procedurally
what kind of
generated
blades are we
game.
talking about?
Spinning ones with lots of sharp edges.
Made of steel?
This is a asynchronous multiplayer game. It's procedurally generated where the phantoms in the name, Phantom Abyss, are other characters' ghosts, players that have played that exact tomb before or that trap pit, and you see them trailing, kind of like if you were playing Mario Kart and trying to beat someone's lap. So you see where they fail. It's kind of giving you a heads up, but also you have to avoid those things and play the game correct. You get a whip, you get jumping, sliding. It's got great controls, really fluid motion, and you can literally grab an edge with the whip and pull yourself up. You can smash pots and open chests with the whip. It's really cool. You feel like Indiana Jones, the BA Indiana Jones, in this game, and I'm loving it. It's a preview program right now on Windows. It's on Steam and Xbox right now. Enjoy it while it lasts here in the preview program. Phantom Abyss. It's a killer game.
Yeah, this looks cool.
Yeah, that's all I've been playing. It's phenomenal. Mike, I recommend giving it a shot. It leads you in very slowly with your controls and everything, and then you just start making runs and having fun.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to hearing more about Dusty Discs.
Yeah.
At some later point. Maybe one day you'll actually hear me say it correctly without having to get bleeped. Well, let's
make sure there's an S in there.
Yeah, right. That's my shenanigan at heart right there.
Right. Yeah. Let's steer clear of that and talk about some news. Helena Taylor, famously the voice of Bayonetta, has been calling out Platinum Games for lowballing her for the upcoming game Bayonetta 3, was coming out October 28th. And as a result of what she thought was a bad faith offer from the company, she decided to not take the job, and the job was given to Jennifer Hale. Mike, have you been paying attention to some of the news surrounding this? What are your thoughts?
I've been paying attention the whole time. This was last weekend. It kind of hit Twitter. Helena Taylor put her video up calling out Platinum Games, saying that it was insulting that she was only offered $4,000 for an entire game. That's at least how her videos came out.
Right.
And, that's how she was saying. And certainly, obviously, the Twitterverse, everybody in the gaming community was like, oh, that sucks. Like, that's terrible. And yeah, that is horrific. Cicero, you've done some voice acting, and you probably know that is more than likely grossly underpaid, let alone other projects that are not always, but a lot of them are underpaid, I would assume. And so, yeah, obviously everybody was piling on Platinum Games. And then lo and behold, 3 or 4 days later, Jason Schreier of all people, who this man quadruple checks his sources before posting something. I mean, he has a certain reputation. He's not going to post this going against the voice actors community, that type of thing, without having concrete proof. And he has proof that she was actually offered $3,000 to $4,000 for at least 5 sessions, which would at least accrue $15,000 at least. And now, this is what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that I agree that is a good enough salary for a full game for Bayonetta 3. I mean, she's been Bayonetta since the first one, right? So that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there's definitely some miscommunication here. And I also think that, we should not be, talking ill about Jennifer Hale. She had nothing to do with this. Like, there's no reason her name should be brought into this vitriol. But like, seriously, I think that
I just said that she replaced her. That was it.
Well,
don't try to blame me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not blaming you. It was on Twitter. Everybody was going after Jennifer Hale after this video came out, and it's just like, and Hale's like, I don't know. I'm under an NDA. It's just like. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that we should really, I don't think that we should, discredit people who come out and say that they were underpaid. But I think that we should be cautious to take it as gospel, right? Like, because there are some things that could come out just like, Jason Schreier's report.
Well, Justin, there is your story, their story, and the truth.
Yeah.
Where do you lie in where these stories mesh up?
It all depends on what receipts Taylor has in her pocket. If she has proof through message, email, any type of payment confirmation or agreement that she signed from them, then that is really the thing that's going to hold up. And regardless, she's been replaced, even though. So I don't think she's going to get that role regardless to get that money that she was promised, because they chose someone else, which really is weird, because if they were promising her that amount, then they would have paid her that amount and continued to work with her. If she changed the story and says, I was promised more, then obviously they would switch and change to someone else. So it's very weird. It's all about those receipts, and that's up to her and Platinum. Depending on who's got those exact numbers that were promised. So no one knows for sure. NDAs are a thing. So they'll get to the bottom of it for sure. But it all comes down to the actual paper proof that was.
I don't know if I don't even know if we'll see. No. If people will see what
Platinum
what happens in the truth. I mean.
Well, yeah. So yeah. I think Platinum knows the truth.
Yeah.
And I think that Helena Taylor knows the truth. And as a person who has been paid to do voiceover work, I've never been paid $4,000. But what I will tell you with certainty is that Jennifer Hale isn't working for $4,000. She's not doing a whole game for $4,000.
No.
So Jennifer Hale is is a legend in especially in the video game segment of VO actors.
Well, she's also a part of a union as well. And
well, yeah, they are.
Taylor's not.
She's not SAG?
I don't think Taylor is. I think she, and I think the union would
or she's part of the
in
voice actors union.
I don't know.
I would imagine that she's got to be in SAG.
Potentially.
But nonetheless.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but nonetheless, the thing that really what it really boils down to is, I personally believe that what Platinum Games is alleging is closer to the truth. That that they did offer her probably $3,000 or $4,000 a session. That $4,000 amount isn't like, it didn't just come out of thin air.
Yeah.
So if she's saying, they're only offering me $4,000 they're only offering me $4,000 to do the game. Now, who knows? I still haven't seen her video, so I don't know specifically what she said. I know that people intimated from what was said that she was only getting paid $4,000 total. But it may be that she said, I'm getting paid $4,000 to do this game, and she meant I'm getting paid $4,000 a session to do this game, and that's not enough for her.
She in the video said for Bayonetta 3. So she did not paint the context.
Right. So, but like,
if there is any on her.
So she is, but what I'm saying is, she said it for Bayonetta 3, but she didn't say, I'm only getting paid $4,000 to do the entire game. She did say, I'm only getting paid $4,000 to do Bayonetta 3. Now, it could be that she was only getting paid $4,000 per session, per each session to do Bayonetta 3, which I think she's well within her right to say, may not be enough, may not be adequate for a third time returning as the title character for a successful video game franchise.
Well, I mean, it clearly wasn't, because Bloomberg's report said that she requested 6 figures.
Well, yes, but so I don't know if that part's true. I mean, it could be true, right? But maybe she ran the numbers, and she asked for 6 figures and royalties plus royalties,
and
residuals afterwards. But like those things may be true, and you know what? Good for her for going out there and shooting her shot, right? Because she is the voice. Now, the other part of that is, Bayonetta is an iconic character. The franchise has done very, very well. But no one knew Helena Taylor wasn't a household name, and nor were people really talking about the voice of Bayonetta in some transformative way. Like, there'd be comments about how the voice sounded good or whatever, but nothing to the point where it's like, oh, this is an iconic voice, and part of the reason that I'm plunking down my money is to hear Bayonetta speak. And from that perspective, Platinum Games is like, you can be replaced by Jennifer Hale. So be flattered. And that's what it is. I personally, I don't think that Jennifer Hale is working for $4,000 a session.
There's no freaking way.
So,
I mean,
but who knows? So, but I think that the one thing that you did say, Mike, that does ring true is, people in social media pump the brakes. You want to cape for people. Just know what you're caping for.
I mean, we're beating on a dead horse there. It's like, it's just like,
right.
We're not going to get the answer regardless, most likely.
Yeah.
Social media won't change. Right. But I mean,
social media can change. Believe in it. Believe that it can.
Absolutely not.
Believe that
we
it
should
can.
just blow it up.
Believe that it can. In fact, speaking of it changing, it changed in its attitude and its tint on the recently released game Gotham Knight. Gotham Knight is you know what? Gotham Knight is what I expected it to be, and I am sad to say that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Mike, we've had conversations about this game since we saw the reveals probably 2 months ago or so.
Yeah.
And we've been having these conversations internally, and you have been really, really standing on the soapbox, asking for optimism and patience for this game. Where are you now?
I mean, where I'm at now is that this is a Game Pass game. You know, if it ever does come to the service, you know, there are critics that I trust that are saying that this game is not good. And so I'm just gonna hold off. I'm not gonna spend $70 on it.
Right.
Maybe if it hits the $20 bargain bin, you know, I would spend the money on it. But yeah, I did have a lot of optimism. You know, we were just seeing slices. We were just seeing trailers
Right.
of the best stuff that they wanted to show us. And so, yeah, of course, I'm going to have optimism about a superhero game that I was looking forward to.
Okay.
But is what it is. It's not an Arkham game. It's, you know, it's their own design and their own choices on what a Bat Family game would have been. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, Justin, do you have any designs on getting this game?
No, I didn't have any before. I'm in the same boat as you. I was trying to keep an open mind due to Mike's enthusiasm towards it. Unfortunately, I am also sad that it didn't fulfill expectations for anybody, really, if not some.
There are a couple, you know, we're being fair, there are a couple of positive review scores
yeah, I mean,
out there
Game
from the
Informer
gaming
gave
press.
it a 7.25.
Okay, well, you know, and that's okay, right? Like good, I think, or close to good.
Yeah, that's
better
their
than
good scale, I think.
better than meh. But yeah, I think for me the story, the things that the narrative that they were trying to reach, or the narrative ambition that they had in some of the developer diaries that they released, made me very, very excited for what this game could be. But every time I saw the game in action, I became more disappointed at, like, I felt like the video quality and the animation and the like
Movement.
what they were showing was letting down the promise that the narrative that the story writers the writers were trying to get us excited about, and it turns out that both of them let you down, right?
Yeah.
Like the developers and the writers seemingly let the reviewers down. So it is.
I think one of the worst things that I saw was that, like, people were digging the story and actually, you know, some of the moment to moment combat, but when you got closer to the middle of the game and a little bit closer to the end, the difficulty started ramping up where it almost required you to be in co-op. And that's sort of a problem. When a game that has been touted as a single player game, that you can play a single player game, almost gets to a point where it's not even possible to continue through the game.
Well, you just got to get good.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, true, sure, whatever, if you want to label it that way, but I also like to just enjoy my video games. I don't always want to just get good, you know? So.
Man, you're missing out.
Cicero, you play things on easy too. Don't even.
Right. Yeah. Look, that's That's I don't care about missing out. I've caught a lot of stuff already. I could miss out on some new crap. It's quite alright.
I think a lot of the flack too came from just a week before the game came out. Obviously people were questioning the videos and thinking maybe this isn't what it's gonna be or what we had high hopes for. But then they released the info that it's gonna be stuck at 30 frames per second.
Yeah,
and that really killed it. Like
to that,
literally a week before it came out, or less than that,
right.
They just dropped that on us, and we were like, our hopes were already at this point, and for most they were down here. So it's just like locking them in that position to know that it's going to be stuck.
I'm okay with 30 FPS in the sense of like, you look at games like the Arkham games on the 360. They're at 30 FPS and they are infinitely replayable.
Yeah, but they're on the 360.
Yeah,
that was 2 generations ago.
I understand that, but if you're talking about, like just a game that has like untethered co-op, has a really cool open world. That's one of the things that people are saying is the open world Gotham is awesome.
Right.
That's one of the saving graces of this game. Like I'm okay with that trade-off. But at the end of the day, it got a terrible amount of press when it just says we can't even hit 60 FPS. Like,
well, no, they can't hit 30 FPS, right? Like they can't hit a lock 30, and that listen, game makers, period. Your baseline for this generation of games
60
is 4K is the base, like the absolute basement. The minimum you can do is 4K 30. The minimum you can do. It's got to be lock 30. If you're going to have me pay a next gen price, the very least that you can do, that you can provide me, if you want me to spend my money and spend it at a premium, then you have to give me 4K 30. And if you can't do that, then you have no business releasing your game.
Well, that's
no
what
business.
I'm saying. This game hits that,
No, it doesn't though. It doesn't. It can't keep a locked 30 on the Xbox. It can on the PlayStation, barely.
Yeah,
but it can't. It can't do that on the Xbox. You can't do that. You have no business releasing. You're gonna charge me more money, like you've gotten rid of the old gen version, and you're gonna charge me more money than the old gen version would have been. Then and you can't give me 4K 30.
Yeah,
hit the bricks. Hit the bricks. So maybe they can cyberpunk this.
I doubt working the FPS problems are going to be able to be fixed. That's
well, you know what? Cyberpunk did. Cyberpunk
can be a patch.
Yeah, Cyberpunk did. Cyberpunk definitely took care of their issues. I mean,
the problem is that if you're going to compare it that way, Cyberpunk actually had decent game design compared to this game. So I don't know if this game is going to be saved.
Well, so I think there's something to be said, right? Like you can not like an idea, but you've got to give it the space to breathe, right? Give the idea the space to breathe. So people may look at the game itself and say, all right, I maybe I don't understand what they were trying to do, and they tried to execute some vision, and I don't jive with that vision. But you got to give a game the space to do that, right?
Vision is Marvel, not DC.
That's how. Right? He's dead anyway, so they can. Anyone
Whoa.
can use it. Spoilers. So the art. So that's where art lives, right? Is in the space to try something new and different. And so I don't fault them for that, but I do fault them for not being able to reach a technical bottom line. Because they can fix that part, right? They can fix the FPS, and maybe they can't fix why the fact that the narrative isn't necessarily as good as you'd hope it would be. But that's okay, right? Like the game can still be bad as long as it's playable at a minimum, maybe.
I don't know. I don't see Gotham Knights doing a second release like Cyberpunk did to reinvent the game after it hurt the box like this.
All right, yeah.
You know, I don't see that happening.
We'll see.
If it comes to Game Pass and they throw a bunch of patches out, I still think it's not going to get the play that it should have gotten if it was a good game.
Oh, if it comes to Game Pass, it will get the play. I mean, it's a Bat Family game. It will just get that play on it alone because it's just in the service. Nobody's paying $70 for this, you know.
Right.
I mean, some people is. I can't say nobody, but
right. Well, you know, a game that people will be paying $70 for is the Silent Hill 2 remake, and you know, and I think they'll be doing that is because they're super excited about all the news that was released this week. Silent Hill 2, Justin, I know you love, I know you love horror games. Silent Hill 2
is my favorite.
That's right.
It's my all-time favorite. Yeah.
So so you weren't paying attention to any of this at all.
No, I completely steer clear because the Resident Evil one was the day after.
Right.
No, Silent Hill 2, I definitely paid attention to the entire broadcast, and then extremely paid attention to the last 5 seconds of each of the trailers. And sadly, I'm going to have to get a PS5, which isn't really sad, but it's more in that like, oh, I need to get this as soon as possible. One of the biggest things that really hit me, yes, the remake of my favorite game of all time, Silent Hill 2, cool, glad about that. But then this Silent Hill F, I don't know if you heard about that. It's like set in the 60s Japan. This thing looks creepy. It looks good. Let's give us Silent Hill in a different area that's not Silent Hill, the city. Come on. Stories with that atmosphere. Let's go. I'm down.
Nice. Mike, what about you?
I mean, I don't have the money to buy a PlayStation 5, so kind of annoying that I won't be able to play it at least right away. It is a year exclusive, it seems, but we do probably prefer Xbox, and I say that just to take this with a grain of salt, but I don't trust Sony with anything when it comes to year exclusives. I've been wanting to play Final Fantasy VII Remake on my Xbox for years, and I have not been able to. So yeah, there's that. Yeah. Anyway,
Mike teased me with it, saying it was coming out on Steam as well, and that was not nice. Yeah, it is. When?
Day and date. It's coming on PlayStation 5 and Steam on the same day.
I didn't see it on Steam at the last 5 seconds. I saw exclusively on PlayStation 5.
It's probably because PlayStation paid for that one screenshot where people watching the conference don't know where it's going. Anyway, I've never played a Silent Hill, so I do think it's interesting that they're going this like remake route, like Resident Evil. I think that's probably the better play. But what I think the most compelling thing is that they are IP shopping. They're like sending it over to different companies to make the games. Like Bloober Team is making the Silent Hill 2 remake. You got Annapurna coming in helping with some other game. I believe it's the Silent Hill F or something like that. It's just like, it's really funny how they're like, licensing it out. So Konami doesn't have any development studios. They can't do it internally. So
and the truth comes out.
Yeah. I'm excited for the possibility of this returning. I'm not excited to play it.
I want a movie.
I've got a PS5. So, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. There you go. Yeah, come on over. We'll play it.
We'll play a spooky game with headphones.
Yeah, that's right. I've got I've been playing my PlayStation 5 games on the PlayStation Pulse headphones. I just bought them. They're really good. They're really good. I got them on sale. They were on sale for $80. So, which is 20% off. And they're definitely worth it. Definitely worth the money.
Yeah.
All I heard was that Cicero got another pair of headphones.
This is true. This is true. But
that goes into the Duck's Dusty Dolby Atmos headphones.
There you go.
Atmos.
These
Silent Hill 2 remake has been announced for PS5 and PC.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. So it will be coming to PC, but we don't have a date yet. We just know that it'll be day and date with the release of the PS5 version when that comes out. When do you think this will actually be available to download and install? I will go with Mike first.
To answer Duck's question quick, it didn't seem like any of the other games were exclusive to PlayStation or anything like that. So I think just the remake is going to PlayStation. But anyway, I mean they kind of said next year, right? That it would be coming out. I would think fall.
Yeah. I'm thinking third quarter. For sure.
Third quarter of next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
That gives space. That definitely gives space for other games that Xbox are releasing early in the year. Right. Kind of in that right after summer, fall. Yeah, I can see that happening for a spooky season.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't believe that it'll be ready for third quarter next year. I believe spring 2024, but if they want to hit the spooky season, it might be spooky season 2024.
Oh, okay. Well then.
There you go.
Please don't say that.
Well, it's what I said.
All right,
and
we'll let you say for PlayStation 5.
Duck, you're gonna have to fight me on that because
now
then it's time to test. It's time to test your might. Shut up, guys. It's time to test your might.
All right. Mom's lasagna. Let's go.
Right.
I don't want to shut up. You shut up.
All right. So,
talk to the judge.
The first.
Don't tell me what to do.
No, listen. All right, kids. I'll turn this thing around.
Are we there yet?
This is the first topic. Mike, as our guest, will allow you to choose who gets to go first.
I invited you on this show. I created this show.
Listen, that's those are alternative facts. All right. So the first topic is NetherRealm has announced a Mortal Kombat mobile RPG. What is one thing you would like to see implemented or omitted from the game? Mike, like I said, since you are our guest, we will allow you to choose who goes first.
I'm going to choose for this joke to be done. I'll go first.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat. It's one of my favorite franchises. I really, really enjoy the lore, the story behind it. And first of all, I think it's pretty interesting that they're coming out with a mobile game. But I'm assuming that Mortal Kombat 12 will be right around the corner. Let me take you into some history here, listeners. Back in the day, when Mortal Kombat came out and was coming to home consoles, people were up in arms about this mature game coming to home consoles where their kids will be sneaking playing it at 12 a.m. while their parents are sleeping, seeing fatalities, blood, and guts, and spikes, and barakas, and people being frozen by Sub-Zero, and get over here, Spears. Parents didn't want that.
What kind of blades? Blades of steel?
Steel blades. And so, here comes good old family-friendly Nintendo. Nintendo releases a game. It says Mortal Kombat, but it has green blood, and it has something that would make this mobile RPG super fun, super funny. Babalities. We're bringing back Babalities to Mortal Kombat mobile RPG. How fun would it be just to be like having this like action setting, you know, with a team, with a squad of mortal combatants battling it out, duking it out, and the way that they kill people is by babyfying them. I think that would be funny to implement into this RPG.
Okay. All right. Babalities. Justin, what do you think should be added or omitted?
Interesting. Cicero, these guests you bring on here, they've got some good hitting arguments. It's gonna
try my best.
Exactly.
So for me, I never played the other RPG game mobile that Mortal Kombat released, and I probably won't play this one, but I will try my best to fight against Babalities. So from a turn, we've got NetherRealm and Warner Brothers, right?
Right.
In the fighting sense, they've got Injustice, they've got Mortal Kombat, they've got these fighting games, right? They're fighting games, but they also have stories tied in. So you get those characters, you get kind of like a background of these characters. So when I read this Mortal Kombat mobile RPG role-playing game, I really thought we better get some backstories. We need characters from the Mortal Kombat universe that we know and love and learn where they came from. What makes them want to fight in the Mortal Kombat? What makes them want to continue in this battle and fight to the end, fight to the death in the end? It's not so much about here's a finish me, here's a finisher here. It's about what led them to that point and makes you want them to win that much more. So that story element of the backstory and not implicating the movies, any of that stuff, coming in with the roots. Where did these characters, where did Sub-Zero get his powers? Where did Scorpion get his chain? We got Liu Kang and, Rain. We've got these characters that we know and love. Let's get their backstories and make us love them even more for the big box office release in the future. This game could be that. Role play those characters in a team for fighting. That's what I got.
All right. Well, Mike, why is Babalities what they should bring back instead of what Justin is?
Well, first, I just think it's kind of like fun nostalgia, right? Like it's cool to kind of implement something that is literally the antithesis of what Mortal Kombat is, just for the funs and the giggles of it. Some of the Babalities would be, would just be laugh out loud, really. Seeing some of your combatants, like, you have Liu Kang, you have Johnny Cage, you have Raiden all in a squad, and they're just turning people into babies left and right. Like, I just think it would be funny. It would add a different element to the game. As far as backstories go, I don't know if it needs to play an integral part into the RPG here because this is a fast-paced melee combat game. Mortal Kombat has never really been one to sprinkle deep lore within the video game specifically. If you remember the arcade, right? If you go to the arcade cabinet, Mortal Kombat, the stories were not in the game. They were just like this little flashcard that you could read. And so I don't know if they need to implement it in a huge story driven, because this is sort of what they're calling it, a team-based collection RPG. So you're going to have a squad, and I think that when you have this group fighting, you need to implement something that brings you into the game instead of just a overall story. Because I don't know if that's going to be the true focus.
So I'm going to fight back a bit here on every point that you mentioned. Role-playing games, right? What is one of the biggest collection role-playing games in the world right now? Nintendo owns it, Pokemon, right? You collect Pokemon that all have individual character traits and character looks and things that we love about them. That's why we have favorite Pokemon. It's just not like we like lightning or, fighting Pokemon. We choose one.
I like
to
turtles.
Enjoy. Good stuff. I almost swore. So
no.
Yeah. No. So I feel like the RPG element is crucial to that game. Okay, you've got the collection element of characters. Why would you want to collect just names and faces that you know? You want to know their backstories. That's what makes role playing so beneficial to that community, is the characters and what the things mean that you collect. So that fights that point right there. Now, Babalities here, I love it. I love that nostalgia. I love that nostalgia. I love that. I love that nostalgia part of it. But the problem is with this game, Warner Brothers has already stated that you're going to be playing with real life people against AI computer fighters. Okay, so you're not going to be fighting against other humans. All right. So when it comes to fatalities and when you hit that finish him moment, the Babalities were meant for humiliating someone you were playing in person. That was the humor element of it. You're not going to laugh at the fact that you did it to an AI compared to doing it to a human. When you hit that finish me, you're going to want to see all the blood and gore. You're going to want to see that because that's what Mortal Kombat is known for nowadays. Back in the day, sure, Nintendo had to do that to get the sales. But now blood and gore is part of the game, and there's not going to be an uprising for it in a mobile game. You've got all these other shooters that are already in mobile. I don't see a problem with keeping the blood in there for this game coming out in the future and enjoying the story elements of my type of game.
Okay, first of all, I never said that fatalities wouldn't exist. I just said that babalities would be a form of finishing off your opponent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you hit that finish him moment, if you're not doing it against a human combatant, there's no point to do the babality because there's no humor element other than seeing an animation when you'd rather see the blood and gore, which Mortal Kombat is known for.
I mean, you are with your friends playing the game. They could also see it because everybody's going to be there in an action RPG here. Also, you brought up Pokemon. Can you tell me a story from a Pokemon game and a backstory of a random Caterpie number 4?
Random Caterpie number 4? No, what about Charmander? Like, his tail goes out, he dies. There's
no, first of all, no, you are telling me the story of the anime. You cannot remember a story from a Pokemon game.
Pokemon Yellow.
Justin, you brought up an RPG that
has
no story. That has no story behind it. You can't tell me a good story from a Pokemon game.
So, all right, and that's where I'm gonna cut it. That was a great closing argument by Mike, but Justin still won this because, despite that very valid argument, Mike, what he was saying was that he was pointing out the collection elements of Pokemon and how great that is, but also
to boost his story argument, though.
Right, but you know that the characters from Mortal Kombat have backstories, but you may not necessarily know them. So adding that as part of this mobile collection game could give it the added boost that he needed. In addition, I think he really hit you hard with the babalities were great for Nintendo when they had to do it for Nintendo, but they don't have to do that anymore. That market is kind of dead. It is funny, but it's not necessarily Mortal Kombat, in my opinion. Therefore, Justin wins. The score is Mike 0, Justin 1. On to round number 2. Round 2.
Fight.
IGN recently created a list of video game franchises and movie director pairings they would like to see. Name a franchise and what director would be the best fit. Justin, winners outs. You get to choose who goes first.
I'll take the prime line here.
Okay, start it out.
So
I believe name the franchise and the director, please.
Yeah, so I found this article. I believe it's like 12 dream video game something or another, and I looked through it. I disagree with one of their picks. I have a different pick for that franchise, and that is the Hotline Miami franchise. And the director of choice is Chad Stahelski. He's known for John Wick and a lot of other co-directing appearances that are in a lot of beloved films. And that's where I'll leave it for now.
Okay. All right. Mike, what do you have?
One of my favorite shows of all time, and I'm very excited for the future of the franchise, is Warrior. Warrior is a TV series that was on Cinemax and now it's on HBO Max. So we are getting a season 3, which is great. Hopefully, who knows? Because WB is doing stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. Really hoping that they continue the franchise. And what Warrior is all about is basically Chinese gangs, Chinese warlords that are within 1800s America, 1800s like New York, like that like
San
area. San Francisco, that's right, my bad.
San Francisco.
San Francisco,
it's right after the gold rush time.
Yeah, and there are different Chinese gangs, Chinese warlords trying to basically rule the underground of San Francisco, right? But what is very cool about this is that it is it's also kung fu. It is kung fu at its heart. The choreography is amazing. And so I guess I'm going to pick it's a series, so there are a lot of directors for different episodes. So I'll just pick Jonathan Tropper, who directed one episode in the season 2, and he is the creator of the series as well. So technically a director, but he could obviously utilize the prowess of everybody else. And they're gonna make a Sleeping Dogs movie. Sleeping Dogs is again, it's sort of fits in these people's wheelhouse. Sleeping Dogs is kung fu at its heart as well. That's the type of combat that's there, and it also has a compelling story of and I believe it was an undercover cop who was trying to figure out what's going on with all the cartels, going on there. So it kind of fits in their wheelhouse, and it would be really cool to see that pairing happen.
All right. Justin, what type of film would Hotline Miami be?
It would be very similar. Like, if I were to list some of the movies that he's directed, you've seen more than a dozen of them. We've got Captain America,
Right.
Winter Soldier, Matrix,
Right.
all of them, X-Men, Immortals, The Mechanic, Season of the Witch. He's been credited in a lot and uncredited in others. A lot of it is for fight and stunt coordination. So lots of fighting and also gunplay. So you've got John Wick, one of his biggest films and currently box office hits, which is a lot of gunplay and very good fisticuffs. Great choreography with the fighting scenes, a lot of good hand-to-hand combat. So Hotline Miami is obviously going to play the role of a story. You wake up in your apartment just like in the game, but then it's very quick paced. Think of like Crank, think of John Wick, but starting off right after a sad dog puppy dies. So you're going to have that wake up and have to clear the building and protect yourself with gunplay, fisticuffs, not fisting. Family friendly.
Oh
fisting.
God!
Family friendly.
Oh God!
Family friendly.
No! I did.
No, family friendly.
I don't know if I want to be on a guest on this show anymore.
Right.
So you have that action and quick pace. If you've seen Crank, you know how quick that goes. That movie picks up and starts running and doesn't stop. So you've got that throughout the entire movie. Hotline Miami is that 80s retro music background with gunplay and like knives and all kinds of fisticuffs. Clear. Yes. Okay.
You did it.
And I feel like that's what this movie would be. Seeing John Wick and see how quickly he was able to shoot guys and keep moving. Same with Matrix, seeing the fisticuffs, fighting, and the kung fu there. You were able to see quick motion fight scenes with lots of action and driving your adrenaline throughout the entire thing. And that's what Hotline Miami really does, is you see in front of you a bunch of dudes that you have to kill, and you have to find the best way to do so without dying. So I feel like very quick pace, which he does great with directing, and I think he could do it spot on to give us that nice 80s vibes, the music, and also the action and gore.
All right. Well, Mike, what does the Sleeping Dogs movie look like?
What?
Like, how is it?
What does it look like?
How is the Sleeping Dogs movie different from Warrior?
Oh, I wish you didn't ask me that question, because I was going to suggest them use the same actor, Andrew Koji, as the main character. I mean, it would just work. It just fits.
Yeah.
They don't have to go far for their star.
Hey, bars. Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you want me to go down that route, I guess that's fine. You're the host. I'm the guest. So, anyway, yeah, it is just a different story. I think a lot of the elements will be the same. I mean, the combat, the kung fu, it's really is going to easily translate from Warrior to Sleeping Dogs. But it's sort of this compelling undercover story about a guy who's just really good at hand-to-hand combat, and they have awesome set pieces. And it's an undercover cop story where, you know, maybe he does sort of grow fond of one of the you know, cartels that he's going against, or, you know, and you know, there's a little bit back and forth of like, am I good? Am I bad? You know, who am I actually working for? Who knows? So I think it's sort of like this, like, you know, Godfather type situation too, like where, you know, where there's pawns and people are working for each other, and just has this really cool kung fu vibe. I love kung fu movies. They're some of my favorite. But what separates Warrior from a lot of the kung fu like movies that you watch is its story. And I truly think that they could thrive doing a Sleeping Dogs movie with all the story elements that they have.
Justin, why won't Mike's Sleeping Dogs movie work?
Because there was canceled a sequel. No, but there was actually back in 2017 a live action film adaptation announced already. It's just not with that director that he has stated. So right. I'll let that slide. But we haven't heard any. We haven't really heard anything. July 2020. He announced that it would be his next challenge. Sure, it's coming. I don't know if I consider Sleeping Dogs a franchise, because it's only been one game. It's only been that one IP release. There's no sequel because it got canceled. I feel like with Hotline Miami, you have multiple games, and you also have a huge fan base that's continuing to thrive and want sequels. Sure, Sleeping Dogs has that fan base and they want sequels, but it's been canned. So I feel like the movie would maybe bring more hype into it and bring a sequel, but mine's the other way around. It already has that hype and it's continuing to thrive. I don't think that we need another, like, as much as I love martial arts films and martial arts fighting in films, I think gunplay plays a bigger role in society nowadays. I think that sure, you get fisticuffs and you get the fighting with kung fu in mine, but you also get the gunplay that really shoots through the box office, no pun intended. I feel like that action and the quick paced nature of it, you don't even need the biggest story to have people hooked because of the action. And I feel like Sleeping Dogs doesn't really hit that same speed element. Yeah, when you get the fights, they're pretty cool and you get some great action and gore, but mine just takes off running and doesn't stop. And everyone knows that by playing Hotline Miami. They know what it is going in and they don't have to question it. They know they're going to get action, quick paced action, and lots of gore. And that's what the game is, and that's what they'll get with the movie. And coming from John Wick director, you already know he's got that concrete. It fits his personality perfectly and his style. And he's going to be able to execute that with flying colors. And we have trust and faith in that, because we have seen John Wick thrive and continue to make sequels, and Keanu Reeves has continued to portray an amazing character throughout those.
Okay. Mike, why wouldn't basically a John Wick 4?
No, that's already announced. That's separate.
Yes, that's true. Yes, John Wick 4.
Well, I mean, you played into my argument. We're not seeing a lot of kung fu movies recently. There are not this genre certainly exists, right? But it's not, you know, what we use in the video game, you know, spaces. It's not, there hasn't been any AAA experiences, like go to the theater, blockbuster kung fu style movies. And I think that with the directors that you have with Warrior, you can bring that with a compelling story with Sleeping Dogs. And to just reiterate, the definition of a franchise is a series of one or
more. So this is still a franchise. It may have not gotten a sequel, but it has been an established IP franchise. Yeah, I mean, we see your movie almost every other day. There is something that is going into the theater that has guns, that has bombs, that has all these things. Not saying that Sleeping Dogs won't, but to have a movie that is more focused on hand-to-hand combat, I think might be more needed in this era of, guns in our movies and video games, quite frankly.
All right. Well, we're gonna cut it there. Mike, you did it. This was yours to win, and you did it. I think you're right that that Andrew Koji is the perfect person to play the protagonist in a Sleeping Dogs game. I think that also that a Sleeping Dogs game is something that, especially because they haven't made sequels, is a world that is ripe for making a film and doing lots of different things in there. And you can do dialogue. The problem I have with Hotline Miami is that Hotline Miami feels a lot like what was that movie that was all in first person Action Harry, or
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like I feel like Hotline Miami in my brain is kind of that, because it is so kinetic and just really like, it almost feels like the church scene in Kingsman, right? Like that's what Hotline Miami feels like to me. And I don't know if I can watch 90 minutes of that and enjoy it as much as I would love if I would enjoy 90 minutes of Sleeping Dogs. With Warrior. So,
but you can join the Fight Club in Sleeping Dogs, and we're not supposed to talk about that. So does he still?
No. Yeah, that's true. So we won't. Instead, we'll talk about how it is tied 1-1. Here we are going into round 3. What is one thing that could fix the issues with Gotham Knights? We started talking about this. We're going to continue talking about it by having Mike choose who's going to start that conversation.
I'll let Justin go first.
Okay.
Just one thing, not like just delete the game off the history of the face of the earth.
The one, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that could be. That is a thing.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick the progression of difficulty. You shouldn't have to feel like you need to play the game in easy to get through it. This is huge. This is something that really changes the fun of the game, regardless to if the game runs great or if it has a great story. It's the way you play it and how it continues to progress as a character playing that game for the first time, with friends or without. If you feel like you're going up against an enemy that is a sponge, and then you're on the easiest difficulty and you feel that way, this is not fun anymore. I don't know who finds that fun to punch the same dude over and over and over and just whittle him down over and over for extended periods of time depending on your difficulty, and nothing changes other than the fact that you're wasting more time doing that. If you were to change it in a difficulty sense of give him more moves or give him more attacks, make the enemy change his fighting technique, different phases of fighting, that would all change that difficulty and make it more fun throughout. But instead, you just have increased difficulty, add more time to that exactly the same fight, and just keep whittling it down slower and slower and slower. So corrected difficulty, less spongy enemies. It goes hand in hand.
Okay, Mike, what's the one thing you could do to fix Gotham Knights issues?
I think it's get rid of the I'm using quotes, listeners, the looter shooter sort of aspect to it. Obviously this isn't a shooter, but there are looting mechanics to this, and what that does is and what that does, I didn't hear what you said. What that does is first it shows you that it sort of sets its expectations that you have to grind. And I really don't like grinding too much in my single player adventure games, especially when it's a superhero video game. Like, Cicero, you think of your 2018 video game of the year in Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, there was no grind.
Mm-hmm.
It was an enjoyable game. Yes,
Right.
you had to, if you wanted to like get upgrades, you know, you could grind with getting, you know, some of the backpacks around the world, around New York, to be able to get upgrade points and stuff like that. You could do that. But ultimately, those were for different moves and just to increase power on different moves. It didn't negate you from, you know, as Justin said, it didn't negate you from trying to go through the story and hitting a difficulty spike, which is sort of what is going on here. The problem with this is that no matter how much you look at Gotham Knights as a different game, this is going to always be related to the Arkham series. It just will, because it is a Bat Family game. And what made the Batman games special had that Spider-Man effect. You were Batman. You still got upgrades throughout the game. Sure, you got new moves throughout the game, but you didn't have to find collectibles in order to upgrade those things. That's what you need to do in Gotham Knights. You need to get collectibles in order to upgrade your skill tree and get to a point where you can defeat some of these villains. That's not what people are looking for their single player experiences, especially in a game that stars the Bat Family and comes off the heels of its predecessors in the Arkham series. People didn't want this. Like, yeah, it sounded compelling in the co-op version, you know, where you could go with your group, all four, and then, you know, do the looting stuff and like upgrade your characters together as a team. But ultimately it didn't work out. If you got rid of it and sort of just made this a story single player game instead of all the looting to try to RPG grind your character, I think it would have been a better game.
Okay. Justin.
So I think the main thing I can say here is our things are very similar. It really is about time spent in the game and what it's worth to you. Those are both of our arguments. Really powerful, strong points. I think the only big difference is with the looter shooter elements, with the collectibles, with going around and getting stuff to eventually benefit your character. That's still a benefit for you. You're spending that time doing those things so that way you can improve your character's stats or improve his weapons or moves. For mine, you're sitting there doing the same fight and not gaining anything other than killing the enemy over a longer extended period of time. So there's not really a gain there other than a higher difficulty saying I beat the game and wasted this much more time of my life doing it, and I didn't get any benefit to that. So those grinding moments, that's the stories you tell. Those are the things that make this game unique for each person. Going and saying, hey, I didn't find that one. Where's that one at? How do I get past this dude? I need to get this to do it. That's part of that experience of continuing to play that game. I like that element of the looter shooter. For fighting a sponge, that's not fun for whoever you are. No matter if you have those extra collectibles or not, you're still sitting there fighting and doing the same thing over and over and over until you finally whittle them down enough. I feel like that difficulty spike needs to be removed over that looter shooter tenfold.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I would say that you just don't have a workaround with the looter shooter stuff. You need to loot in order to upgrade your character, in order to progress through the game. When you get to that difficulty spike, like you said, you can ask for assistance. There is co-op mode, and you can get through those. And so you, with your proposal here, you actually do have a workaround a lot easier than my looter shooter. I was listening to a podcast, and one of the things that
This one?
Yeah, this one. One of the things that the reviewer on that podcast was saying about the looting aspect of this game, I think it was Greg Miller, actually, on Kind of Funny Games Daily. Shout out to him.
Congrats on the spare bedroom. I've been following all that stuff. Anyway, he's never gonna listen to this.
Listens, by the way.
Anyway, so I was listening to him, and he described it so perfectly for how I would feel about playing this game after reading the reviews, after listening to them. You're Nightwing, you're Batgirl, you're any of the characters, and you're just sitting there, and you're just like, there are missions within this game. You're paroling. You're paroling. Yeah, you're paroling the Gotham, and you're paroling Gotham,
okay,
and you are trying to stop
Everyone's
crime.
on parole.
Yep, you're riding your bike and stuff like that.
Patrolling?
Paroling?
No, patrolling.
Patrolling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Parole is when you.
Parole.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
that's
rewind.
when you get. Yeah.
You're patrolling Gotham City with your bicycle, your bat bike
Your
or whatever.
Bicycle.
All right, if I don't win
There's
this
a
argument because I
vigilante.
made you laugh,
Ring, ring.
and
Stop! Justice! Justice!
Anyway,
Get in the basket.
Get out of the way.
Catwoman's like,
my case. I rest my case. Clearly,
You're paroling Gotham.
you're patrolling Gotham, right?
Petroleum.
And one of the things about the looting aspect of this is that you are trying to immerse yourself into being Nightwing, into being Batgirl, into being Robin. And I think Greg talked about an instance where he was patrolling Gotham, and this box next to an ambulance just showed up randomly in his experience while he was paroling. And it was just like, it was next to an ambulance. The ambulance was taking care of people, and it was a chest for some health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That just completely stopped him from being immersed into the level. And literally he was like, I'm now stealing from these ambulance people because I need medical things to upgrade a certain thing. And it's just something that just takes you so much out of the experience. You think about the Arkham games, the atmosphere. You think about Spider-Man, the atmosphere of New York City. Like, that's what we want in a superhero game, these single-player aspects where you don't have to look for resources to upgrade your characters. That's just not how it should be in a superhero game. It works for other games. I will say that. It works for other games. God of War, you have to find resources to upgrade your weapons, stuff like that. And when you're trying to be a superhero, I think what's better is to, and by the way, God of War didn't have the looter shooter stuff. This literally has chests. This literally has chests that you have to go get resources to upgrade your character. Get rid of it.
I understand, the whole like falling off your bicycle and having to get some health from, an ambulance. That makes sense to me. But I understand, that it takes you out of the experience. But what would be more beneficial for a single player game? Right? If you don't have friends, if you don't have compadres to join in because they don't want to spend money on this terrible game that's already gotten terrible reviews, but you have it and you want to play that game, and no one else has it that you want to play with, would you rather have that grind of enjoying the game and having a more of an experience throughout, or would you have being able to finish the game? If you get to that point and you don't have friends, no one shows up because this game has closed its servers, which is eventually going to happen. The servers
for a long time.
Eventually it will. And then what happens? You can't get past that difficulty spike without anything, right? Then you're still going to be crap out of luck on your bicycle paroling Gotham. You're going to have problems on top of problems if you don't have a difficulty setback.
But you can grind enough to get past that, because I know people who have gotten past that.
And your stories that you will tell and enjoy your stories throughout that grind.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the story of this chest that I grabbed on building number 7 on Block C.
All right, and we're done with this. It is ding, ding, ding. It is time to adjudicate. And the score is now 2-1.
Thank you.
Yeah. In favor of Justin, he wins this debate. I
Ching, ching.
understand and appreciate Mike's debate about the grind, but part of the attractiveness of this game is the co-op nature, right? That was something that people were excited about, being able to pick a one of the Bat family and patrol Gotham with another member of the Bat family. And sometimes, and so what that translates to is you getting together with a friend and playing that game. And a lot of times when you're playing games like this, you are grinding, but you're spending your time with your friends. So you don't necessarily mind the grind. What you do mind, though, is how, as Mike, you talked about breaking the immersion. I think what breaks the immersion more than a health crate is the fact that you're a trained martial artist. You've been trained by Batman, and just because the game needs it to, it'll take 37 hits to knock out some goon because the game needs it to. And I think that, making the difficulty spike not as drastic as it is currently in the game would go a long way to making the game good. I did not give half points. I could have, but I didn't. But I am disappointed because the right answer for this question was to delist it and delay it until they get it right. So
that wouldn't be the best fit.
I should deduct points.
For sure.
I should deduct points, but it is 2-1, Justin. We enter into round 4.
Can't see anything.
Fight. All right. The blind fight is seasonal themed. So Halloween is fast approaching. So please explain to me what is the scarier prospect? The haunted house. You can go to one of those regional haunted houses. You pay $35 or the Halloween party where you bob for apples.
What is the scarier?
Yes, what is the scarier proposition? Justin, since you won, you get to choose.
Yeah, I'm going with haunted house.
Okay. All right. And so please explain why the haunted house is scarier than bobbing for apples.
Most haunted houses, you have to be over 18 nowadays, right? And you can't show up hammered. You can't. They won't let you in, right? So you have to show up in the right state of mind, which means you're going to get the effects of the haunted house regardless to your age in there and regardless to your mental state. You're going to have to deal with that, the fears and the scariness of the haunted house, the darkness, the creepiness, the jump scares, what haunted houses do best. When bobbing for apples, you could be as hammered as you want. You're with friends, you're at a party, you're having a good time with friends. You're not scared of someone trying to chop your head off, running out with a chainsaw or whatever. This terrifying element of not knowing what's around that next corner is really the thing that's going to scare the pants out of people. And that's why they thrive, is because you don't know. You know a theme sometimes if they give it, but for the most part, you have no idea if there's going to be a giant spider animatronic, or if there's going to be a giant shark, or a snake for myself, or a clown in a mask with a chainsaw. You have no idea what's around that other corner. So I feel like bobbing for apples is something that you're going to do if you want to do at the party, but you don't technically have to be in a mind state of paying attention during that. You can have fun and lose and still enjoy your time doing that. No one's holding your head down during that. You have freedom to get up and stop. You're not getting drowned by somebody just holding you under. In haunted houses, you can, run through and try to avoid eye contact with anything that tries to scare you. But for the most part, they're going to scare you because you don't know where you're going in that darkness. I'll cut it out there. I'm going kind of long.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Mike, Why is bobbing for apples scarier than a haunted house?
You're at a party.
Yeah.
And
Bicycles.
you see it. You see the 2 tubs. There are a bunch of apples in it. There's also a bunch of water in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And you look down at your attire.
Right.
And you notice that your Halloween costume is all white.
Mm.
And now here's the problem. You're with a group of people that are most definitely going to make you bob for apples. You know it. You're walking through the crowds and you're just like, man, my friends are jerks. I'm going to bob for apples. But I haven't told my friends any of this before. I haven't told them about the things that I don't want them to know about.
Oh, what don't you want them to know about, Mike?
And here's the thing.
Oh.
We're going throughout the party and you know, I'm just having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm still having my white attire on and my friends are like, "Hey, you're going
white.
to bob for apples, right?"
Right? Yeah, you're bobbing.
And I'm like, "No, I don't want to. I really don't want to. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to bob for apples. There's too much water. People are going to hold my head under, like Justin said. I don't want to do it." We don't care. You're doing it. Really? They drag me. They drag me to the 2 buckets with all the apples. And they force me to do it.
Oh.
They force me to bob for apples. And my whole attire, my white shirt, gets soaked, right? And underneath my white shirt, I forgot to wear another white shirt to block my 3rd nipple. And my Care Bear. And my Care Bear tattoo.
Oh, gosh.
And all the things that I don't want my friends to see, because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, nothing is more scarier than public humiliation.
Whoa. All right. Well,
and that is why I don't want to bob for apples.
This sounds very personal.
Right.
I apologize if that was a true story. If not, I still apologize. Yes, public humiliation. Yeah? Not only are you getting dragged to bob for apples, but it's usually your friends that are saying, let's go to a haunted house. And guess what? You don't like haunted houses, right? And you walk into a haunted house and you see Batman on a bicycle, or you see something that's going to terrify you. You've got all these things that are going to scare the crap out of you. Your fears, your personal fears that no one knows about except you. And guess what happens? Your friends that wanted to go, obviously are horn buffs like myself, they laugh. They laugh at your fear. They laugh straight into your face as you run away from a clown with a chainsaw or a clown on a little bicycle with a horn. You have those fears that you don't know what's coming, but you're forced to go with your friends. Just as much as you who are wearing a white t-shirt, it's not personal to what you're wearing. It's not personal to what you are thinking about. It is you as a person. Anyone could be that person, pulled by your friends to go. No matter the tattoos you have or the nipples you do or do not have. You're going. And you're going to get scared and laughed at. And that's just the truth of it.
But here's the problem with your story. And I'll end with this, Cicero. You be free down. The problem with your story is that I wasn't talking about my friends laughing at me and humiliating at me. Because I have good friends. I have friends that, although they forced me to bob for apples, they weren't laughing at me because of my humiliation. It was the rest of the party. In fact, my friends afterwards, they consoled me. They came over to me. They didn't laugh at me. You need to get yourself better friends if they're taking you to a haunted house and laughing at your fears, because those aren't supportive friends. That is why bobbing for apples. Huh? No, it's not scarier because I have friends that are not laughing at me when I'm going through a haunted house. That takes
the scared away because you have those consoling friends.
Well, yeah, and that's fine.
You left alone in my story.
Right. Well, you guys have gone out with your friends, and you've gone and you've done 2 very, very scary things. Mike, your inventive story won you this debate.
Let's
Your
freaking
third
go.
nipple. Yeah. Your third nipple and Care Bear. To be honest, for me, honestly, the real answer is still bobbing for apples. Because we're in a post-COVID world, and that's everybody's germs in that bucket, and that is gross. That is gross. That's a lot scarier for me.
You know, coming from Batman and then adding a third nipple, I'm just thinking of the bat suit with nipples and thinking a third one's on
There
there
you
somewhere.
go. There you go. There's a third
There you
nipple.
go. There
Like,
is.
Is that nipple in the middle? Is it
Yeah,
like off
it's,
center?
It's
Is it?
in between. It's in between his third and fourth ab.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow. Wow.
Left
okay.
flank or right
It's
flank?
it's
left. Yeah.
Okay.
left flank,
Yeah,
but pretty low. A pretty low nipple.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us.
Okay,
to
hang on. I'm sorry. Can we stop
Okay.
for a second? Is there a legitimate reason people are scared of bombing for apples besides germs?
Oh,
Drowning?
Yeah, no. That'd be
Drowning?
the only reason I'd be scared of bobbing for apples.
Okay,
the germs.
I think drowning
Germs.
is pretty big because people do hold heads down.
Yeah. Well, that's,
Okay,
yeah,
because
that's terrible.
I
That's
was
a-
like,
that's a
what the
crime.
freak am I going to argue here? And then I
That's
thought of
a
this
crime.
story.
yeah, that's a crime. But like
Okay,
you know,
I
yeah,
just didn't.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there was something that I was unawares
no.
of.
Oh no, it's gross. It's gross. And you know, 100 houses. It might be scary, but I paid money to go in there. Everything's gonna be fine. They're not gonna kill me. But I might die.
There's some haunted houses.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I won't be going to those. I might die from
That's
bombing
called
for
a
apples.
horror movie, Justin.
Right. Yeah.
There's some places.
It's a hostel.
There's some places I know.
Copenhagen or something. But anyway, we have a tie. It is a tie, and as you guys know, if you've been here more than once, when we have a tie, we go to Metacritic, and we have a Metacritic guess-off. It's a tie where we use Price is Right rules. I will give the name of a game, and both contestants will have to guess the Metacritic score for the game. The closest without going over wins. If both go over, then the closest will win. So we are going to talk about a game that we've been talking about, or at least from a franchise that we've been talking about today. And that is a game that was released on February 16th, 2018. And that game is Bayonetta 2 for the Nintendo Switch. What is the Metacritic score for Bayonetta 2? Please let me know when you guys have your answers.
Yeah. Are you ready, Mike?
I'm good. Yep.
Okay, you guys are both good. We're going to go on the honor system.
Have you looked this
Mike?
up recently? Because you've been playing the first one.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Mike, what is your score for Bayonetta 2?
91.
I got 84.
Justin says 84. Mike says 91. The answer is 92.
Oh,
Mike, you win
I finally
today.
won a Metacritic.
Oh,
I don't think I've won one.
No, congratulations.
welcome to the
What
club.
do you want to say? 30 seconds on the clock for you. Go.
Yeah, I knew it was in the 90s, so I went with 91.
Okay, that's what you want to say to your fans?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very
Actually,
much.
no, I'm sorry. It's been a very good
time's up
to be
now.
the
There's
guest of
12.
honor.
Right.
12
Thank you,
seconds.
the guest of honor.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for guessing. Thank you very much. That was Test Your Might. Now it's on to the leaderboard. Congratulations, Mike. The leaderboard, top 5 video games Bear Grylls would rock in.
Thank you,
So,
Brian, again for giving us a fun and crazy leaderboard.
Brains. Love it. Love it. So, Mike, as our winner, you get the choice of deciding on where you get to go in the leaderboard. Do you want to go?
I don't care. I
First?
could go last. Go ahead.
No, go first then.
All right.
Go first.
State of Decay 2.
State of Decay 2.
If I could type.
Bear Grylls would survive pretty well, I think.
I think he'd be good in PUBG as well.
Okay.
Just like drop on
an
shooting
island.
wise.
Right.
I mean, but still, like PUBG is also about like getting gear, and getting things without having anything.
Well, he would have a frying pan, so he'd be able to like.
Well, yeah. And then Tomb Raider. I think he'd be good in Tomb Raider, 2013 reboot. Yeah. You'd rock it in there.
All right. What about you, Justin?
I've got one that you guys have never probably played. That is Green Hell.
Yeah, never.
Survival game on the PC where snake bites can kill you. Yeah, you have to know about your environment and learn from it before you start going into that game. Next I've got Minecraft. Let's keep it fun. Minecraft is one that obviously you're crafting things and building and making yourself survive, obviously. And the last one I thought I'd be really fun with. I tried to keep it away from gunplay because I don't think that he really is good with guns. He's good with survival. So I thought I'd go with the spooky season and go with Outlast. Yeah, Outlast. So this is definitely a survival horror. He is good at surviving the elements and also surviving bear attacks, that kind of stuff, like trying to know his surroundings. So I think he'll be good at there. Man versus everything.
All right. Well, I'm going to go first. If you guys might be able to see this, both Justin and Mike, that I'm going with. My first one is Ark Survival Evolved. And
you put a
my second game. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Grounded.
I've been coding. Yes. And the second game is Grounded, also known as Grounded. That would be the second game that Bear Grylls would be great in.
Yeah, I can believe that. He knows the creepy crawly stuff. That's good.
Right. The third game that I think Bear Grylls would be great in.
Oh, don't you?
Is Bug Snacks.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Where did Mike's
Bug Snacks?
It's gone.
It went to the next page.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, Mike. What's your must-have? Let's put it up here. Why was there so much space?
I think that State of Decay 2 is going to be my must-have.
Okay.
All right. What about you, Justin? What's your must-have?
I like how Mike, all three of his games have gunplay, but you know, my Hotline Miami had too much guns.
Right.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Outlast as my must-have because you guys won't.
I'm
fight
down
for
with that one. Oh, I would have.
Okay. I
But
feel
too
like
late now. It's all right.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah.
It's on there.
You're fine. I like that.
Cicero.
Yeah. So my must-have is Ark Survival Evolved. All right. So
You sure it's not Gornded?
Yeah. Out of the remaining, we've got Green Hell, Minecraft, Grounded, Bug Snacks, PUBG, and Tomb Raider 2013. What do we have? I'm going Grounded and Minecraft, probably.
I want to fight for Green Hell because, like, the amount of realism or like effectiveness of learning, even how to like heal your wounds. If you get cut on your left leg, you have to wrap it up properly. If you get poisoned, you can put maggots on the open wound and cover it up so it eats away the bad part.
That sounds like a Bear Grylls game.
Like medicine, bandages, opposed from nature as a whole. I think that it deserves to be up there. Green Hell is, and it's hard as heck. Literally, it is a tough game.
I second that emotion.
And I also second Grounded. I've played enough of it to know that Bear Grylls would be great miniature-wise against all those things. Get this Bug Snacks out of here. I'm done talking about it on this podcast.
Should have put Viva Pinata out for it.
So yeah, so then our top five, I think we like it, is in no particular order. Video games: Bear Grylls would rock it in State of Decay 2, Outlast, Ark Survival Evolved, Grounded, and Green Hell. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. We have gotten to the end of Test Your Might episode 93. I want to thank my combatants / contestants / brothers, Rubber Duck and the stay-at-home gamer, Mike and Justin. Thank you very much. Remember to check us out on all of our socials. Remember to check us out everywhere that you can and share the show. Thank you very much.
Please
for
share.
Mike, for Justin, I am Cicero. For Jelly, I am Cicero. And we'll say peace.
Bye.
And we're out.
Gornded.